And joining us now from Jerusalem is the famed Soviet Jewish refusenik and former head of the Jewish Agency for Israel, Natan Sharansky. And Natan, of course, it was the reforms by Mikhail Gorbachev that led to your release and, of course, the freedom for so many more Russian Jews, Soviet Jews. How much personal credit do you give Gorbachev for that?
I can tell you that when I was released, and I was the first political prisoner who was released by Gorbachev, one of the first questions was, do you want to say thank you? Are you grateful to Mikhail Gorbachev? And I said, I'm grateful to Israel, to Jews of the world, to President Reagan, to all those who were fighting for my release. As to Gorbachev, we have to see whether it is separate episode or whether it's beginning of the liberation of Soviet Jews. And I have to say that it took time before the release of some political prisoners and prisoners of Zion turned into the opening of the gates. And if Gorbachev didn't see the huge demonstration, 250,000 Jews who came when he first came to Washington in 1987, and that was the key moment when Reagan told him, you see, my people spoke, you have to open the gates. Without this, without pressure, there will be no free immigration. The Iron Curtain would still be there. So yes, we should be grateful to what Gorbachev did, and it's really, the world is lucky that after Brezhnev and Andropov came Gorbachev and not some Gromyko or somebody else. But at the same time, we have to remember that all his reforms were the result of big pressure, of a lot of activism, of dissidents and Jews inside Soviet Union, and the support of their struggle from all over the world.
Right, but of course another leader might have reacted differently. You were speaking there as a Jew. Let me ask you as a Russian, because do you think there might be, as we heard in the report, many Russians are very ambivalent or negative about Gorbachev. Do you believe there might be one day when that opinion might reverse?
First of all, we have to understand why there was very ambivalent opinion, not only today. Today, mainly people are very critical about Gorbachev. I think the polls show that, at least before the war with Ukraine, polls show that less than 10% think positive about Gorbachev. But even in the days of his reforms, of course, there were people on the right who were afraid the Soviet Union would fall apart, who understood the Soviet Union is weaker, and they were against. But also, among us, dissidents, human rights activists, they're always feeling that Gorbachev believes in communism, believes in socialism. He wants to give to socialism human face. And that's why he's really resisting to the process of inevitable destruction of Soviet Union. He was sending troops to Tbilisi and to Vilnius in order to stop their fight for independence. He was fighting, arguing, debating, and fighting with Andrei Sakharov until the last day of Andrei Sakharov's life, because he wanted to prevent, he wanted the Communist Party to stay as an only party in the Soviet Union. So he started the process of dismantling Soviet Union without understanding it. And when he understood, he was resisting. So from this point, he had big problems on the right and some problems on the left, even in those days. With the time, Putin is almost opposite to Gorbachev, really opposite, because Gorbachev wanted to give more freedom to people in the Soviet Union and, in fact, dismantle the empire. And Gorbachev now wants to restore the empire and to strengthen dictatorship.
Well, since you raise it, let me ask you, I mean, is it possible that Vladimir Putin or even other leaders that may come are going to reverse Mikhail Gorbachev's reforms and achievements, and that he will seem more like an oddity, an episode, passing episode in Russian history?
Well, no doubt that's what Putin tries to do. Whether he will succeed, I have doubts, simply because he really tries now in a very dramatic way to restore Russian empire, and he starts such barbaric aggression against Ukraine, which cannot be good for Russia, which will not bring any benefits, real benefits in terms of quality of life and in terms of the place of Russia among the nations. But Putin wants to bring back Russia as a superpower, and he is doing almost the opposite. So Putin wants to turn the legacy of Gorbachev as something which is almost non-existent. He believes that the biggest tragedy of the 20th century is dismantling of the Soviet Union. And from this point, Gorbachev is a very negative person for him. But of course, for the world, Gorbachev is the most positive leader, which from the times of Russian Empire to this day.
Let me ask you, Natan, because you said at the beginning that you were uncertain whether Mikhail Gorbachev was the reformer he turned out to be. There's always an argument. Leo Tolstoy discussed it, whether there's the individual or the forces at history at play. Did you ever believe the Soviet system could throw up a figure like Mikhail Gorbachev?
No, well, first of all, we dissidents believed that Soviet Union will fall apart long before came Gorbachev. My friend Andrei Mayrik wrote in 1969 book where the Soviet Union will survive until 1984. Why we thought so? Because we saw that this system puts all its energy, all these resources in order to keep under the control, not only lives, but brains of 200 million people. So we believe that it will fail, while the West felt that it is such a strong power that it's practical forever, and we have to be very cautious with Soviet Union. Again, when Gorbachev came, he came there to the leadership as a communist who wants to give human face to this system. And from this point, it was good that he started reforms, but we are lucky that he didn't understand where it will take him, because he didn't realize that it will bring to the end of the Soviet Union.
All right. Well, as you said, his history will judge his legacy, but certainly he was an extraordinary man, seemingly at the right time in history. Natan Sharansky, thank you for joining us on I-24.
Thank you. Thanks.